What's happening? Welcome back to Let's Play Virtue's Last Reward. Last time we made it through the garden. Today, the aftermath. No sooner had we stepped out of the garden than I saw the three people I'd watched leave through the green door sometime earlier. Whoa. What are you guys doing here?
We ought to be asking you the same thing. How'd you get here?
Sigma, hand me the map.
Map? All right. I dug the map out of my pocket and spread it out in front of us.
You three came in through the blue door, right?
Yeah.
And which room did you go into?
I'm gonna need the computer to shut up, though. This fan-shaped one. It's called the Bee Garden.
Bee garden?
It's this big dome with a bunch of plants in it. Look, you can go see it yourself later, alright?
What about you guys?
Well, after we went through the green door, we ended up in the treatment center.
And then we met up. Right here.
So, what's the treatment center? It sounds a lot like the infirmary.
You want to have a look? We can go back to any of the rooms we've already visited.
Oh, okay, I guess we're going to take a look. Sure, let's have a look. After a few moments of brisk walking, we found ourselves in the treatment center. What are those?
They're why this is called a treatment center. Those pods can cure a number of illnesses and even repair certain injuries.
Whoa, that's nuts.
How about you climb in one of them, Dio?
Why?
Well, maybe it can fix whatever's wrong with your brain.
Hey! You want to start something, lady?
What did Dio do to her? She didn't even really interact with them up until this point. Like, what?
Calm down now, son. You don't cool off a bit, I'll have to throw you in one of these pods here.
Huh? Why?
Weren't you paying attention? They have a cold sleep function. I figured that ought to cool your head up.
Wait. Did you say cold sleep? That's where they freeze you, right? And you can stay that way for a really long time?
Yeah?
According to some records we found in here, until about 8 hours ago, there were 3 frozen people in these pods.
Ooh.
3 people? Who?
You mean 3 of us were? We don't know. All we found was what was in the logs for the pods.
How long were they here?
No idea. Part of the logs were erased. All that's left is when the cold sleep function turned off. It records them thawing out, getting up. That's it.
Then they could be anyone.
Well, anyone but you.
What? Why not Alice?
Because you don't need a device like this to freeze Alice. Am I wrong?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Uh-oh.
You don't need to play dumb. The water in your body isn't normal water. It's something called Ice 9.
Oh, whoa. Is this dude psychic?
It freezes at 96.8 degrees. That means all you have to do to put yourself in cold sleep is drop your body temperature below 96.8. No fancy machine needed.
Where on earth did you hear that?
From Clover.
Oh.
Clover?
When we were exploring the lounge during the first round.
I see.
Why would she spill that, though?
What's so funny?
Oh man, you fell for that one hook, line, and sinker, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Clover was messing with you. That is, if she even said anything to you at all. It was a lie. A joke.
A joke? No, there's no way it was a joke. I'm sure about it. Your body is made of Ice 9.
Well, you're mistaken. It's a ridiculous misunderstanding. An urban legend.
With seemingly no other prompting, Alice launched into a lengthy explanation. It went something like this. At some point in the past, someone found a frozen, mummified Egyptian queen. What was curious about this mummy, however, was that it remained frozen at room temperature. People began to refer to her as All Ice, which eventually became simply Alice. Rumors that her body was made of Ice 9 began to circulate, and her bizarre refusal to thaw only compounded them.
They say that the mummy finally thawed, and when it did, it began to move. And ever since then, I've had people say they thought I was her. I mean, really, how could anyone believe something so ridiculous? The existence of this mysterious Alice and of this ice that doesn't melt are just urban legends.
Like, I mean, it would explain the clothes. It would explain the clothes. Trying to keep that body temperature. Wait. No, then surely she would bundle up more to maintain a higher body heat. But it's also dependent on the environment she's in. But why would people make that mistake about you in particular?
It can't just be because your name's Alice. There are tons of Alices.
Is it because of your face and how you look?
Well, it is true that I am both beautiful and elegant. Can I really be blamed if people think I'm an Egyptian queen?
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
I don't think that's the only reason, though. Someone who made that mistake said something to me once. They claimed they'd seen me before. Of course, I immediately pressed the issue. Do you mean the mummy, Alice? I said. When? Where? Of course, they were at a loss. In fact, I began to feel a little sorry for them.
Why would you immediately jump to that,
So
though?
I told them something. If you're so convinced, then maybe I am actually Alice. But maybe I've lost my memory and can't remember who I am. And so on and so on. I'm still not sure why Clover would tell you something like that, though. Even if she was just messing with you, it seems a little out of left field.
You really think she put that much thought into it? She was probably just screwing with him, and it was the first thing that came to mind. Maybe she wanted to see if she could get him to believe something completely ridiculous.
Yeah. I could see her doing something like that. Well, I think that's enough idle gossip for now. The cold sleep business is interesting, but I don't think it's terribly useful. We should go see if the other team has returned to the warehouse yet.
At Alice's request, we made our way out of the treatment center. Something feels off about that whole thing. Because this, like, based on what I played in 999, and like the similarities to Danganronpa, and just visual novels in general, like 428 Shibuya Scramble, they don't just throw a random thing like that at you and just be like, oh yeah, but that's just fun talk. Like, no, those tend to have, like, meaning behind them. Like, never just look at small details as just one-off occurrences in these games. This is...
It looks like another warehouse.
It looks like the same warehouse.
Hey, look.
3 more doors.
They're all glowing white. You think?
These might be the next set of chromatic doors.
I'd bet on it. Look, they've got the same boxes next to them as the other doors. So the next set of doors are white?
They haven't all been the same color before.
We definitely need to tell the others about this.
Right. Let's head back to floor A. Wow, do we really need to stop at like each door like this? I mean, wow.
Oh, thank goodness. You finally returned. I was beginning to get anxious.
Did something happen?
Yes. It's Quark, you see. He
Uh-oh.
What? What happened to Quark?
collapsed. It happened so suddenly. We were just searching our room.
What?
Please, you must hurry to the infirmary. Clover is looking after him, but his condition could change at any moment. You should go.
Oh no.
Tenmyoji shoved Kay aside and leapt through the yellow door. The rest of us exchanged a few startled looks, then ran off after him.
Quark.
Oh, that was automatic, but walking back is like, yeah, let's show every door. Okay.
Come on, kid. Get a hold of yourself.
Tenmyoji grabbed Quark's shoulders and began to shake him desperately. It was Clover who stopped him.
Hey, what are you doing? He's sick, and we don't even know what's wrong with him. What if you make him worse?
Then what am I supposed to do? I have to save him.
Save? That seems a little extreme. Maybe he just has anemia or something.
No, that's not it. I know him better than any of you. He doesn't have anemia. He's never just collapsed before.
Well, then call an ambulance and stop freaking out about it.
You son of a bitch. This is serious.
The infirmary seems pretty well equipped. There are plenty of diagnostic tools, but without a doctor, there's not going to be much we can do with him.
Isn't Luna a nurse? Oh, right. Well, we've got Luna.
Luna?
Exactly.
That's right. I remember Dio saying something. You have a medical license, don't you?
Wait, really? Is that true, Luna? Well, yes, but...
You have to take a look at him then. Please. Quark needs your help.
Okay. I'll see what I can do. I think that machine over there is a medical scanner. It's called an atom. It uses nuclear magnetic resonance imaging to examine and diagnose people.
So that thing can tell us what's wrong with Quark?
Yes. I believe it can.
I don't want to rush you, but the sooner the better. Just let us know if you need anything.
Of course.
The whole process took only a few minutes. The machine scanned Quark's body, and within seconds his results lit up the screen. Words too complicated for me to understand scrolled across it, and as she read them, Luna's face grew dark. She bit her lip and just stood there for a moment, looking down at Quark before she spoke.
Well, I know what's wrong with him. I feel so terrible saying this, but Quark has an infection. A viral infection.
Oh no.
Oh no. Don't tell me.
Yes. He's been infected with a virus called Radical 6.
The fuck? Have you heard of this virus? Radical 6, I mean.
Yeah. I told Alice and Tenmyoji about it.
Fi and I heard about it from Luna.
Dio and Luna were two of the first people to investigate the infirmary. They must have seen the newspaper clipping that Quark found. I'd stayed behind after the AB game and they'd all split up and gone into different rooms. It seemed like, one way or another, everyone had heard about Radical 6.
No. He can't... How could he have gotten infected? That's not possible.
Something about the tone of his voice seemed strange. Why wasn't it possible? Had Tenmyoji known about Radical 6 before the rest of us?
There must be something we could do! How can we cure him?
Well, Adam says there's an antiviral serum called Excelivir. It's the only way to counteract Radical 6. If we can inject him with some, he should be okay.
Where is it? Shouldn't it be in the infirmary somewhere?
Yeah, we looked around, but we didn't see anything.
I don't trust a damn thing you say. I'm asking Luna.
I'm sorry, but Dio's telling the truth. We didn't find anything.
Damn it. What about the other rooms? Sigma, what about you? Did you find anything?
No, nothing like medicine. I mean, it was just like a park. Lots of vegetation and stuff, but no medicine.
What about you, Kay? Was there any medicine in your room?
We visited the laboratory. There were a number of chemicals and concoctions there, some of which were medicine, but nothing like what we're searching for, I'm afraid.
Oh, God. Then he's going to... Oh, God, no.
Look, just to be sure, the three of you went to the treatment center, right? And you're sure it wasn't there?
No, there was nothing even remotely like it. You went there too, didn't you? The only thing in the treatment center are those treatment pods.
Treatment pods. That's it. If we put Quark in one of those pods... For a moment there was silence.
Quark?
Quark!
Huh.
Oh, thank God. You're awake.
Get away from me!
What? Quark, what are you...
What?
Sorry, Grandpa. I can't. I have to.
Have to what? What are you talking about?
Isn't it obvious? I have to escape.
But how?
Like this.
Quark's hand moved like lightning. He grabbed hold of the scalpel and was driving it straight toward his heart. Stop!
No! Let go! Let go of me!
What is happening? Pretty tough for a kid. Hey guys, I could use a hand here.
Yeah. Right.
On it.
Me too. Stop it! Let go of me, you jerks!
Tenmyoji. What the hell are you doing? Get over here. Tenmyoji. Can you even hear me?
Oh. Right.
Damn you! Bastards! Why won't you let me go? I have to get out of this body! They can't lock away the soul! Once my body's gone, my soul can escape!
Okay.
Please! You have to let me go! Let me go! I'm trapped here! Let me die! I have to die! Kill me! Somebody! Anybody! Kill me! Kill me! Kill me! Ah!
Well, damn. What the... Jesus, this kid's lost it. I mean, no fucking shit. Hey, somebody get that scalpel away from him. Good. Thanks, whoever that was. Quirk barely even seemed to notice the loss of the scalpel. He continued to scream and writhe like he was possessed. What are we going to do? Gotta calm him down somehow.
Luna,
Yes?
are there any tranquilizers in here?
Oh, okay, we're just gonna trank the kid, alright.
No. Well, I mean,
What?
there's Super Beta.
Oh,
Sopero?
I mean, that's just gonna flat out knock him out.
anesthetic. The one that's in our bracelets. Good. Perfect. Hit him with some of that.
What?
He'll be fine. It's just an anesthetic, Tenmyoji. It won't hurt him, I promise.
But
Just hurry up and do it! Come on, Luna!
Okay. Let me just... Okay, I've got it.
Good. Wait until he's... Now! Do it now!
Right.
No! Stop! Stop!
Of all the people who'll be the first to lose it, I didn't think it would be Quark. I mean, granted, he is a freaking child, but still. Yeah, panting sounds from Sigma.
Respiration, blood pressure, brain waves, everything's normal. According to these readings, he's in a very deep sleep.
Alright, I guess we're good for now.
Yes.
What about the anesthetic? How long will it last?
He shouldn't wake up for a few hours.
Man, he sure was strong for such a little guy.
I think that might be the virus's fault. It probably attacks the part of the brain that governs reason. Without anything to hold it back, his body was using every ounce of strength it had.
Yeah? How do you know?
Huh? Oh, well,
How much do you know about this Radical Six?
oh, not much.
Mm-hmm.
I probably know about as much as you do. All I've seen about it is that newspaper article.
That the truth?
Why would I lie about that? I've seen other viruses do the same thing. I was just making a guess.
So when Park tried to kill himself, are you saying that was because of Radical Six, too?
Yes. At least, I think so.
So a fast-acting neurological virus? What kind of virus is Radical 6? Does no one want to say anything?
what are you doing?
I turned and followed Tenmyoji's gaze. There stood Alice, her hand wrapped tightly around the scalpel. Apparently, she had been the one to take it away from Quark. The longer I looked at her, however, the more I wondered if she'd taken it to protect him, or for some other more sinister reason. She didn't seem stable. In fact, she looked far more like Quark had a moment ago, than I was entirely comfortable with. Her eyes were flat and hollow. Her face was an emotionless mask. She was not well. Alice? Hey, are you feeling okay?
We're all going to die.
Huh?
We're all dead already. Only terrorists would resort to biological warfare. But they will. Soon.
Hey, what the hell are you talking about?
You don't understand? All of humanity is going to die. The virus will spread. Adults, children, everyone. Everyone! There won't be anyone left! I'd rather die here!
Wait. Alice. We were all too stunned to even try to restrain her. We just stood there as she spun around and leapt through the door. Damn it. I shook myself and took off after her. But those few moments of hesitation had put too much distance and too many doors between us. Shit. Which way does she go? Right? Left? I was still trying to decide when everyone else poured out of the infirmary.
You lost her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. I said, yeah. I don't know which way she went.
Well, let's split up and look. Quickly. She can't have gotten too far.
Right.
Look, if you find her, it's probably best not to shout or anything. Just do your best not to provoke her.
This is going to be a rough video to edit.
Understood?
Gotcha.
10 Myoji. I think you should stay here with Quark. The rest of us can look for Alice. Sound good?
Yeah. I stay here. Got it.
All right, let's move, people. Get going.
At Fi's command, we scattered, filtering off into the different doors. As I ran, I thought, where should I look for Alice? Perhaps the lounge would be a good bet. No one here, huh? Damn. Where did she go? Complaining wasn't going to help anything. I needed to go look somewhere else. Where are we even going? Shoot. Nothing in the treatment center either. We need to find her quick or she's gonna do something bad. If we hadn't stopped Quark. I need to hurry. I headed to the garden next. Had a feeling that's where she was gonna be. They stated that one by name. Like, with treatment center, he just went there on his own. Like, this was just presented differently. She's probably in here. Or not. I'd only gone a few steps from the walkway through the grass when I stopped short. Oh. Alice!
Oh, there you are. Good. I'm glad you showed up.
Huh?
I just got here a minute ago. She was like this when I found her.
You're very calm.
When you showed up, I was getting ready to carry her to the infirmary.
Then she's, alive?
Yeah. Her breathing and pulse seem normal. She doesn't appear to have any obvious external wounds.
So she's just unconscious?
Looks like it.
What about the scalpel?
Doesn't look like she has it. Figure she probably dropped it on the way here. Anyway, we need to get her to the infirmary. Give me a hand here.
Right. Alice was lighter than I'd expected, and Fi and I managed to set off toward the infirmary at a brisk trot.
All right, please pay attention, everyone. You need to hear this. The Atom has finished scanning Alice.
What did it say?
Her results are identical to Quark's. She has also been infected with Radical 6.
I guess it's just safe to say everybody there has it. On our way back, Fi had gone off to retrieve the rest of the participants. 7 sets of eyes widened as Luna spoke. I mean, you can't really tell with K, but alright.
Oh no. No! What's going to happen to her?
She gonna die.
Well, like I said before, there's only one way to cure Radical 6. There's a special antiviral treatment. Do you know what immunoglobulin is?
Immunogoblin?
It's another name for antibodies. Some people have antibodies that can fight off Radical 6. Those antibodies are the basis for Excelivir.
Wait, what about those pods in the treatment center? Can't we just stick them in those?
Right. I thought of that too, so I went and took a closer look at them. Unfortunately...
They can't cure it.
Correct. They can suppress the symptoms for a while, but they can't kill the virus itself. The only way we can help Alice and Quark is if we can find some Excelivir.
But the pods will keep them from getting any worse, right?
Yes.
Well, then what are we waiting for? One of you, grab Alice. We're going to the treatment center.
As he spoke, Timioji moved over to Quark and lifted his small unconscious body off the bed. Quark shifted slightly as Timioji moved him, and something fell out of his pocket with a soft clink. I bent down slowly and picked it up. Oh, well, dang, alright, then, you know, job done. Is this medicine?
What?
Well, what is it?
Hold on. There's a name on the label here. Axelav.
Excelivir! You found it, Sigma? That's the one thing that can cure Radical 6.
That's way too convenient, though.
Why did Quark have it?
Perhaps he found it earlier.
Earlier when?
We explored the laboratory. It was on the other side of the red door. I happened to notice Quark putting something in his pocket.
He hid it?
Whether or not that was his intention is unclear.
Also, you could have mentioned that earlier?
I did not have the opportunity to ask, as he collapsed immediately afterwards. It didn't feel appropriate to go digging around in his pockets for it after that. And to be honest, it had also slipped my mind.
I mean, it's like, oh, he put something in his pocket and then immediately he collapsed.
We were rather preoccupied with getting him to the infirmary as quickly as possible.
Who cares about the details? We have it. Hurry up and give it to him, Luna.
Hey, hold on
a minute. What about Alice?
Does it really matter if she goes first or not?
I'm sorry, but I don't think we can do that.
What?
There's only enough here for one person.
Oh my god.
The only way we have to administer this is with the injection gun. And the way it functions, it uses a whole bottle each time you pull the trigger.
In other words, we can't split the dose in two or something.
Right.
While we all stood stunned, Fi moved. Stepping over to Cork, she quickly ran her hands through his clothes, then stepped back with a frown and a small shake of her head.
Nothing. That one bottle was it.
Do you think there might be some more back in the laboratory?
No. Unfortunately not.
No.
Oh, God.
Just enough medicine for one dose.
Only one person can be saved.
I say give it to Cork.
Who should we give it to?
Cork.
Alice?
Nope.
Quark?
Yep. What the hell is this? There's no way we're only going to save one of them.
Then what are we going to do?
Do I have to spell it out? We're going to save them both.
How?
That's... I needed to calm down. Think. There had to be some way to save both of them. It was there, I knew it. Not to mention you don't know who else might be infected. Oh. What? That was unexpected? Are we not going to do another A-B thing? Yo, what's happening? Wait, what? It's a dead end? They hit me with a 428 Shibuya scramble to be continued? Lock number what? I'm very confused here. One moment. Okay, so I did as much searching around as I could without being spoiled. And, yeah, this VN is a little more involved than 999 was. It's a lot like 428 Shibuya Scramble, where some things do need to be done in specific orders. I don't know how it handles it compared to Shibuya Scramble, because I thought that handled it amazingly with like how the timeline was structured, and you could just switch in between like everything at ease, and it maintained like a perfect track of like wherever you were. Like it, Shibuya Scramble was like borderline perfect for me. But yeah, like this is interesting to say the least. That said, this is a little more slower paced than Shibuya Scramble, so I don't know, like for the people watching this, you want me to like just continue going like blind to a certain point. Like I'd be willing to do like a couple more decisions blind, but I don't know, at some point I am going to like just follow a guide, whether it be one that was offered to me by commenter and member of the Discord, James Mast, or if I like just find one online somewhere. Like at some point I am going to like consult the guide just to see like how to unlock different paths. Because, yeah, Shibuya Scrambled also handled that really well by offering you hints. Like, if you get to a dead end or, like, a lock or something, it will be like, I wonder what would have happened had, like, those two gone down the alleyway instead of the main street. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then you go back to that and you see how everything lines up, and it was really neat. Yeah, this ain't doing that. But I mean, it's still like pretty neat. I'm having fun, but yeah. I'll leave it up to you all. Comment down below. You want me to continue going blind for like one or like just to like maybe one or two more dead ends, or should I just go ahead and follow a old like shortest path guide or suggested path guide? Let me know. I'm up for either or, 'cause I am enjoying the story. Though that is also one hell of a plot, like just cliffhanger to end on for this path. Like, who do we save? Alright, start over from another decision. Like, oh, there could have been like a greater sense of finality. Like, maybe Alice just disappears and everyone's like, what's even going on? This is crazy. And then that ends, but I don't know, whatever. So yeah, let me know in the in the comments how you want me to go about this, and I will see you all next time. And if like nobody says anything or something, then I don't know, I'll probably just like flip a coin or go to a random number generator or something and just be like, hey, odd, I'll do this, even I'll do that. But alright, goodbye.